This is Trends with Benefits, our weekly Roundtable Tech podcast here from Digital Trends. Thank you for joining us, of course, all working from home, doing it remotely now, but this is our long-running podcast. Also, a video version we're broadcasting live on a bunch of different platforms right now, so thanks everybody for joining. It's interactive. If you have comments, you have questions throughout what we're going to be talking about, certainly drop those in whatever platform you are watching on. But today we are talking about spring cleaning your tech, spring cleaning your digital life. So if you are like me, and I'm going to guess, I'm going to introduce our roundtable cast of characters here in a minute, you have way too much old stuff that you don't need. This phone, I have no idea how old it is, but for some reason, I have held on to it. I barely remember it. I remember it had like a green screen. I don't even think it was in color. And for some reason, though, I felt necessary to hold on to this for all these years. This is an old Garmin eTrex. It's got to be like 12 years old. I don't even have the charger for it. Yet for some reason, I decided this is something that I need to hold on to. I didn't want to get rid of that. I have no need for this. And this is the same thing with like even this gigantic laptop. It weighs like 30 pounds. Again, don't have the charger for it. And I think this is something that a lot of people are doing. And it's not only just hardware, but it's also just online, how many emails you have stored up. And that's what we're going to talk about today is just how to clean up this stuff. And I need the most help out of anyone. I'm Greg Nibbler, by the way. And so again, thanks for joining us, but let's introduce our roundtable cast of characters here. So normally we are in our studio in Portland, Oregon, but to my virtual right, it is.
Hey, it is Adrienne Warner, AKA Hot Nozzle.
Hot Nozzle.
Hot Nozzle?
We can't line it up the way we used to.
No.
It's just not the same.
We can't line it up right. There's a little bit of a delay, just so everybody knows, between me and everybody else. So just assume it's me who's a little bit slow for everybody. Adrienne,
My Greek
hello.
chorus is not the same anymore.
We'll have to pre-record it so you can just play it there for you.
There we go.
All right, Adrienne, I don't know if you have any piece of hardware that you wanted to showcase, or
Yes.
we can circle back around. Adrienne's probably smart and has everything all neatly organized, is what I'm going to guess.
Oh, yeah, totally. It's actually really nicely organized in this cute little orange box. I'll show it to you guys. I did find, though, that there was some sort of bug living in behind it. So here's all my old DS games and fun things like that. My favorite two things that I found in there, though, was this iPod, like, stereo plug-in thing that I still have that it folds in on itself, so portability, I guess. and then
That's
I was
amazing.
telling you guys about this old hard drive I had from college that my college security thought was a flask, because it really does look like a flask, but this has some old files on it from, I don't know, when the market was crashing. Let's just say that's how old I am.
That's it does kind of look like a flask. I do have to say that'd be a perfect cover actually in college. They should make hard drive flasks. That's something. There's a market there for that. All right. Well, again,
Easy.
taking a look here at our old tech, old stuff that we have. We're going to get into advice here in a little bit too, but that is Adrienne Hot Nozzle Warner's. Continuing down the virtual roundtable, we have on the end.
Hi, I am Caleb Dennison, a.k.a. The Whiskey Mist, a.k.a. Chicken Bone, a.k.a. The COVID Quaff. In case you're wondering, I was referring to my really terrible hair. You know what? I've just given up at this point. I just grease it back 50s style and let nature take its course. And that's pretty much all I have going on for my hair today. So sorry for everybody having to look at it, but look at this instead. This is a laser disc. If you didn't know, the reflections.
Oh,
are
wow.
bad. You guys remember these suckers?
Whoa.
Yeah. So I not only have a Laserdisc collection, which includes, of course, the Rock, because how do you not? But also the Laserdisc player to play them, and that's just sort of a nostalgia thing. I don't actually consider that tech that needs to be cleaned. That's like a collector's item. This, on the other hand, the old guitar from Guitar Hero. I don't know what this is doing around because nobody plays that anymore, and I don't even know what system this works with. Although it does make a nice stand-in if you don't want an air guitar, you can always play this sucker. So those are my two examples to show you today.
That's not too bad. I got to say, the Laserdisc, in a way, is kind of cool. The Guitar Hero, no, I would pass. Yeah, the Guitar Heroes, that's got to go.
The guitar probably needs to go. Sorry
But
about
again,
that.
just take
I
a
do
look at
have the
everything
rat's
they've
nest
got.
of cables, though. I think everybody has one of those, and I have at least 2 boxes worth of those. I can connect anything. I could probably jumpstart a car with just like old S video cables and crap like that.
Yeah, and that's something else that I've got a whole box of that stuff too. It's all tangled up. I couldn't unravel them all to actually bring them in here because still even with this mentality, I'm like, well, one of those I probably want, so I want to be careful about what ones I bring out here to throw away. So yeah, I totally understand when it comes down to that. Continuing on around the virtual roundtable, we have, of course, Mr. Drew Prindle. Drew, I really want to know what you have hanging around your home that you probably shouldn't.
You're gonna need. I am an idiot and I completely forgot to pull out this thing, so I have to get up for a second and go grab it if you don't mind. But I have something that I think you guys will really dig. If you could just stall for a moment and talk about whatever other craps Caleb has in his, I will be right back.
Okay, so Drew is giving us the
Perfect.
stall right now so that he can go get whatever it is that he wants to showcase us. Let's just take a look at Drew's place right now because I do have to say that chair. I don't know if that's like a knit macrame thing that he's got hanging over the chair.
That looks like
part of the fun
That's
of
so cozy.
wow.
That's so
It
cozy.
does look very cozy.
That's like
that is
next
one thing.
level chair
Sorry, I
padding
guess we're
right
stalling
there.
right now. For everybody who's watching live, thank you. Thanks for joining us. But I mean, isn't part of the fun though with all the Zoom meetings that we've been having is just to take a look at what the backdrops are and see what people actually have in their background that maybe they forgot about. I don't know what street that is that Drew's on. What's going on in that corner?
Yeah.
But
I don't know if
it does
anybody's
look like
ever
he's
noticed my
back with
shark.
whatever it is.
All right.
Now that's all I can see is the shark behind you. That is all I can see now for everyone.
Da-da, da-da.
That's a whole other meeting. Just what's in your Zoom room. All right, Drew. Let's see what this thing is that we had to stall for.
All right. So first of all, here's my cord. All of my cords. That was a whole bundle of nothing but. It's just a rat's nest. It's terrible. It's nothing but. I don't even know what that's for. Why am I holding on to all of these? They were even neatly organized for no reason, just so I can forget about them. So there's that. The thing, the piece de resistance is this giant 1 terabyte hard drive that I had from college with an iBurn sticker on it. Guaranteed this is full of pirated movies. Nothing but that, really. Probably a couple old essays that I got B's on, but yeah, there's that. And then I also found this gem. This is a little box. It has a scale in it, a half-empty pack of rolling papers, and a weight, a 50-gram weight to make sure that my scale was calibrated. So that was a trip down memory lane. This was all a bunch of crap from college that I haven't looked at in years. So that was what I found in my my box of digital crap.
Wow. I mean, it just makes sense that both of them are marijuana related and that you still have the scale right.
You never know when you're going to have to get back into
That's
the game,
amazing.
dude.
That's true. Yeah. What if they all shut down, man? Somebody's
You
got to
never
have
know.
it. All right. So we've got that. So talking about our hardware, and that's one of the things that we wanted to cover here too. And I do have a little bit of info at the end of the show too, just about where you can get rid of some of this stuff if you can get up the strength to do it. But the other thing that we want to talk about too is just cleaning up your digital life. You know, we're all working from home now. Maybe it's time to finally take a look at some of the things that you haven't been doing for a while, and that includes your emails. And Drew, I know you wanted to walk through this just about emails in inboxes, and I will say for mine, like right now, I probably shouldn't say this on the air actually, but for
Please
my
do.
work email, I have 8,000 emails.
Oh, dude,
8,000
that's
emails are sitting in there.
amateur hour, man. You got to get those numbers up. That's like barely even scratching the surface. Like I'm going to tell you right now that prior to setting out on this like digital spring cleaning event that we decided we were all going to do, I had 44,000 emails in my inbox, and that was just the unread ones. To be clear, there were probably a shitload more that I had opened that were just in there. So what I did was I set out to change that and make my inbox not such an absolute cluster cluck. And obviously there's not like a quick way to do that just by hand. You can't go through and just like, mark them all individually and just like decide, oh, I'm going to delete this one, I'm not going to delete that one. That would take forever. So I started doing research and found a couple apps that allow they're designed for people exactly like me who have just ignored their email for years on end and have allowed things to pile up like that. So you have to batch delete a bunch of them. And I found this tool called was just pretty simple. It's just called Clean Email, and it's pretty sweet. I liked it because what it allows you to do is filter through all of the emails in your inbox through a bunch of like really clever and specific filters. But they also can stack. So you could be like, hey, I want you to show me only emails from 2012 that I actually replied to the person who was sending it. So that way you can pick out from that year the people that sent relevant emails that you might want to keep their contacts, and then just like delete everything else. And you could also do it in the opposite fashion. Just be like, show me every email that I didn't read from 2014. If I didn't read it from, 6 years ago, probably okay to delete it right now. And within the span of about 30 minutes, I got rid of about 40,000 emails. I'm only down to 4,000 at this point. Most of that is just from this year, which is disgusting. But to put this in perspective, I get probably more junk email that I just don't care about than most people. I feel like on any given day, I get about 150 emails or more, and 99% of them are worthless. They are stupid pitches from companies that are pitching me a product that I'm never going to write about, or random newsletters that I didn't even sign up for that my email has just gotten signed up on because it's been around for so long. So that first batch of just getting rid of stuff was honestly just like phase one. The other thing that I tried to do was prevent so much pileup from happening in the future. So there were two things I did there. The first one is I signed up for this free app. It's called Unroll.me, and it's basically a thing that unsubscribes you from newsletters, which is rad. I think Adrian's going to talk a little bit more about that kind of thing. But the other thing that I did was I created a smart mailbox that automatically grabs any email that has the word unsubscribe in the body text. So nobody's going to say, hey, if you want to unsubscribe from this email, just click here. Anybody who's actually emailing you something of value is not going to have that in the freaking body of the email. So now I have an email, a box that catches that, and I can just batch delete those or batch unsubscribe. So I think with this new system, I will be able to keep my inbox from ever getting over 10,000 ever again. I'm setting the bar low because honestly, I hate email. It's like my least favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, I was going to say over 40,000 unread emails alone. You are right. I am an amateur hour right now. I thought that I got a lot every day. That is nothing compared. And I've tried to like keep up with it, but I'm bad at it. And then sometimes I miss like actual important emails because of that, because it gets so cluttered. I love that app though. I'm going to definitely try that out and try to clean out some of it. And again, for everybody who's tuning into, if you're watching the live show instead of listening to the podcast, subscribe to the podcast. But if you're watching it, that's what we're talking about. It's just cleaning up basically your digital life and all the tech in your life that you don't need. We've all held on to way too much too long. That includes emails. But I mean, you go from that, talking about the email side of things, and you did mention like lists and subscriptions and things that people subscribe to. And I am guilty of doing that probably more than I should. But you talked about how Adrian was going to talk to us just a little bit about that, about emails, about email lists and everything that's going on with that.
Yeah, to tag on email lists and especially like marketing emails and subscriptions, we all sign up for newsletters that we don't intend, or we somehow, by plugging in our email into like, I don't know, a place where we're purchasing something, we get signed up for like a whole suite of email lists that we don't want. So I decided to also dive a little bit into that, specifically more in the marketing email world. And I've been a big user of the new like Gmail layout for a while now, and just been letting stuff stack up in the promotions tab. So I counted, and I have apparently 22,000 unread emails in my promotions tab. Yeah.
That's solid. That's good.
Good numbers. You're definitely in pro status at that point.
That's right. And I also signed up for Unroll Me, which was super satisfying. And like it just, in 5 minutes, I tackled all of these email subscriptions from just crap that had accrued over the years. I unsubscribed from over 63 email lists, and you can they allow you to the ones you keep to like roll up into this little deck that kind of gives you a report, ironically, every week in your email. But it's a really easy way to manage it. It's nice and clean, and I really liked it, just from like a usability standpoint. There's a lot of other similar services out there on the market, or if you don't want to sign up for one and you do use Gmail, you can just kind of take advantage of that promotions tab and just like mass delete at a time. That's also super satisfying. And it also does have a nice feature too, that if you don't read a lot of these emails very often, it'll just automatically ask you if you want to unsubscribe. So I'd say Gmail is just kind of the way to go as a standard, and then you can add on other services on top of that. But there's
Nice.
also,
So, because I'm taking a look at my Gmail right now. Yeah, I've got about 30,000 in that side of things. That I have no idea when I've ever signed up for any of these things. I don't know how they got my email address, and that's like part of the problem, is just not knowing how you got into these things to begin with. Was there any one that you were surprised by, that you were subscribed to, that you didn't realize you were a part of?
there's definitely ones that I could tell took advantage of like me signing up for something political and then like attached other things to it. Actually, the one that I was really surprised that I was signed up for was like a Trump press briefings list, and I was like, woof. So I took myself off that, which is great. But a lot of, yeah, exactly. There's just a lot of like restaurant stuff that I was signed off
Yes.
on. And
Did
yeah.
you notice that any restaurant that you paid using like Square, or like you slid your card in a Square terminal, they now have your email address and can send you promotional emails? That is something that I figured out from all of this. I had no idea that was happening.
It's infuriating. Yes.
It pisses me off. I never signed up for that. I just wanted to pay.
I just wanted to go to your food
I
cart.
was
damn
unaware
it.
of that either.
Yeah, how does a burrito purchase turn into a bunch of spam email? I don't understand that at all.
I don't
Yeah.
either. It's frustrating. Well, there's a
All right,
whole
well,
other
I'm-
side I wanted to dive into in the subscription category, which is paid subscriptions as well. And we've kind of talked in the past about how we've moved for this subscription-based economy to make things a lot easier in our life. So, everything from our food to our clothes to our media and our software subscriptions, like everything's on a subscription now. And so it's just really good to do an audit of those every so often. I couldn't really find any that I wasn't actively using, but I do have a story that my boyfriend was going through his AWS subscriptions several months ago and realized that he was spending like $70 a month on server space for test sites that he wasn't using. So like definitely check in on those. You probably have a bunch of domains you purchased over the years that you're still paying for that you don't use.
Oh.
Or maybe you do and you're waiting to sell them. I don't know.
I had a little bit of an issue about buying domains at one point. I've got a collection that I need to either sell or stop paying for. That's a whole other thing that I have to deal with.
Please tell
but
us
yes.
at least one.
Oh no, I can't
Just
give away my secrets. I can't give away the secrets. If you want to buy AmericanFuelCompany.com, I have it for sale for you right now. There it is. That's one of the ones. But there's, I don't know. It was
We
a whole
need
thing
something
that I was doing for
juicier
a
than
while.
that.
Maybe at the end of the episode.
I
That's
know
the-
you
that's
do.
the nugget.
I know what you want, but I'm not going to do it. There's some other ones. In there. I'm not going to say them. But outside of that, that's my own shame to deal with. Going from the email list and going from the paid subscriptions that you're part of, which we all have and we all need to go through. That is great. Any other advice that you have, Adrian?
Yeah, so I was looking at some of the apps that you can use to sign up and kind of comb through your subscriptions, and a lot of them require you to plug in, really really private information, such as like your bank account info, your credit card, and then it analyzes those automatically to find out how much you're recurring in regular subscription services over the months, years. And it's nice because they track them and they show you kind of like the total so that you can be like, hey, that HBO subscription that you haven't watched since, Game of Thrones ended, you could buy a Vitamix with all that money or something. But a lot of them ask for, a lot of sensitive, personally identifiable information. So I didn't actually sign up for any. Truebill was the one I was looking at that said that they would store that information potentially on servers outside of the country. So I was like, I'd rather just share my email for now. But there's a bunch of different options. There's manual ones. There's one called Bobby for iOS that you just plug in everything manually. You don't show your bank account information. Same on Android. There's one called Subby. So there's just a lot of options out there, and some of them have these interesting tiered subscription levels where if you pay a bit more for premium, they'll actually negotiate your bills for you. So they might get you like a lower internet rate based on current promotions that you might not be aware of because you unsubscribed for all those emails earlier. Tie a bow on that.
It's all a catch-22. All right, that's some great advice. I will definitely be trying that out. So again, as we're walking through this, cleaning up your digital life, and that's what we're talking about for everybody who's watching live. Seeing some Felicity just said some good tips, some things to think about. And Larry just noticed that he subscribed, wound up with like 10 more email subscriptions that hadn't planned on. So there's a lot that we could do. Adrian, thank you. And I know, Caleb, you have some more advice for cleaning up when it comes to photos and what's going on with that. So Caleb, tell us what you got here.
Well, first, I mean, as long as we're comparing email subtotals, I want to point out that I have currently 112,722 emails in my
ding,
inbox.
Ding, ding. We have a winner.
Yeah, that right there. That's a true champion.
Man.
Apparently, though, I actually
I am not even in the game.
Yeah, I actually read more than I don't, apparently, because I only have 9,724 unread messages, which I'm not sure what that says about me, but yeah, then again, this particular work inbox has been a work in progress for 9 years at this point, 8 or 9 years. So I've had a little bit of time to get that going on. But yeah, I'm not about the emails. That's actually not my problem, despite those numbers that you just heard. My problem was with photos. And I had photos everywhere. I had them on a desktop. I had some photos on a laptop, both a personal laptop and a work laptop. I had photos on my iOS device. I switched to Android, started racking up photos on an Android phone, photos just everywhere. And I finally decided to just, bow to the Google gods and sign up for Google Photos and set things up so that, well, first of all, I uploaded everything I could find from every hard drive everywhere, because most of those were not backed up. And I didn't know when they might, kick the bucket. So I thought, all right, I'm just going to upload all those photos. I'll worry about like deleting the ones I don't want later. And then I set my phone up so that any picture that I take with my phone is automatically basically mirrored on Google Photos. And again, you have to go back and prune the photos that you don't necessarily want out of there. But this has been super, super clutch for me because there have been times when, the phone went dead, I had to reformat it, or I lose a computer or what have you. The photos are always available. I was a little bit worried about the privacy aspects of those. Could those photos be used somehow? Could somebody else access them when I didn't want to? Because it's not just the photos, it's also videos, So videos that you take when you and your friends are drunk and hanging out and doing crazy, stupid stuff, like that's going to go up to the cloud and live there for you to discover later at some other time. But I've actually found that I've had no problems. The storage is virtually unlimited. If you have a phone with relatively low storage capacity, but you like to take a lot of photos, especially a lot of videos, it's great to be able to take those. And then 30 minutes later, an hour later, a day later, you can just delete them and know they're not gone. They're just up in Google Photos and you can view them anytime with your Google Photos app. I love that it maintains the quality of the photo and video too. So it's not compressing it, which makes it actually easier to share in some cases. And then the stuff that Google Photos does on the back end with its facial recognition software, it can start recognizing you and your friends and your family members so that you can actually just search by that person. And I'll ask you to clarify that person's name. You have to hear that information. But once you attach the name to that, you can find all the photos with that person in them with a few strokes of the keyboard. That's also really handy if you take a picture of a lot of receipts for business or other just like random paperwork that you needed at the time, but you don't necessarily need later. You can find those very quickly and batch delete them if you want to. And then, I take pictures of certain documents that I just don't want to carry around in my wallet, so that if I go to the doctor and they need my insurance card information, I don't have my insurance card on me. I don't carry that anymore, but I do have it right there. And it's way faster than pulling up the health insurance app and trying to deal with it there. So I think that that's a really great way to just sort of clean up your phone. Stop worrying about all the, you don't have to do a bunch of hard drive backups and have redundancy. I would say that, if you're a worrywart, you might want to back up everything on Google Photos to a physical hard drive. It's just going to have to be huge if you take a lot of photos, and you will have a, physical device that has those on there. But so far, Google Photos has been great. Now, if they ever decide to shut down for whatever reason, I'm sure they'll give us a way to get access to all of the photos. And those, you don't mess with people's memories, right? You just don't do that. So I'm not really worried about what's going to happen in the future. I think right now it's just a really excellent organizational tool. And I'm going to call an audible here before I stop. Mikey, I don't know if you're able to help me out here, but there's a photo in particular that I feel like everybody should see right now. Adrian and Drew can see this dreamy rocker look Greg Nibbler photo in our Zoom meeting. I don't know if Mikey can pull that up right now. Probably not, because it's basically just Zoom. It's Zoom.
I have no idea what it is.
Well, we're going to make this photo available somehow. Some way we're going to get this out to the public because it's absolutely epic.
Can this be the
really
thumbnail?
Sells it for me is the eyeliner. Is that what it is? The eyeliner, maybe?
I think it's the look.
What is it that? Where did you find this of me?
I think, like, at the very least, we need to make this the thumbnail of the episode wherever we put it up there.
Absolutely.
Great.
Okay. Mikey's going to take care of us.
See, now I wish I could delete everybody's
photos. It's the look.
Right,
you're looking up. It's the amazing lighting. Like, a lot of effort and care got put into, and I want a copy. I want a copy for me to put in my Google Photos.
Oh, is that my cover on Zoom? I don't even know how that got there. Sorry, I'm looking at Zoom over here. Oh, yeah. I don't know how that ended up in there. I didn't even think about that. Okay, well. I just want to delete it all. Delete the internet right now.
Highlight going on, and maybe some penciled.
I know for everybody who's watching right now, fortunately, you don't get to see that. Whatever's going on with that picture. Now I'm embarrassed because I totally didn't even realize that was in there. Anyway, so some good advice there from Caleb. Also, one thing I did want to say really quick, though, when it comes to the hardware, we talked about getting rid of the hardware at the beginning. The bottom line is it actually is difficult to ethically get rid of hardware because every city has a different rule or ordinance. And we've actually got an article at Digital Trends just about how terrible, at least in the US, it's organized. So, because every state has something different, every city has something different. So the best way to figure it out, if you can or can't, or where you should get rid of something, is to honestly Google it. Figure out where you live, and then check right there. Like for Portland, Oregon, which is where I happen to be, there's several places you can take stuff. But yeah, check locally. That's about the only way to do it. Looks like we're out of time to show that picture, so I think that we're all right to go ahead and just.
There's a good one.
That is a good one. That popped up in an older episode.
That's
like
a different one. Yeah,
right?
There it is.
That was good.
I think I might have a couple from that evening as well.
The red light mugshot is the other good one.
The red light mugshot. I have a couple of those as well that I keep in the archive.
Oh yeah. Oh, my mugshot. Yeah, that is a great one that I should have out there. Now that I think about it. All right. Before this gets out of hand, thank you everybody.
I was going to say, if anybody gets bored of the quarantine, you can pull out your old yearbook from high school and see if you can find people's mugshots.
That's a good
Hot
idea.
tip.
I like that idea. That is perfect. There's a lot from mine. All right. Again, thank you everybody for tuning in. This is Trends with Benefits. This is our weekly Roundtable Tech podcast. We used to be on Thursdays. I saw some people asking, what are you doing? We're on Tuesdays now, at least throughout quarantine. So it'll be 2:30 p.m. Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. You can also go, of course, wherever you get podcasts, hit download on the podcast, subscribe to that, share the show, let everybody know about it. It's always going to be interactive, though, for the video side of things. All this advice that we give you, we've got articles at Digital Trends 2. You can go and take a look at those. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another episode.